All right. Trying to get some things set up here. I'm having to use loopback in my mixer, which I'm not super fond of. I'd rather capture the audio from the desktop directly rather than through loopback. But yeah, I don't know. Let me see here. Let's see if I can fix a couple things here. React Native Live. Okay. Okay, so let's do this. React Native Live. Tweet that out. Okay, put that there. I need to put it in a few different places, so hold on. I will be back. Hey, Kate. How's your Wednesday afternoon going? Put it into our community. Okay. There we go. All right, got it in a few different places. We're gonna get started here. Decided to work on Ignite some more. Yeah. Let me check your DM here. Yeah, this seems a little weird. That's really strange. Toggle Storybook could just be adding a little bit of like, it's probably like, it's a race condition, you know? Like, essentially, like, it's adding just a little bit extra time for it to initialize or something like that. So. My new setup isn't quite as nice as my old setup in terms of the layout, but all right. Okay, so let's bring over this, and we don't have the right thing open, so let's go grab that. Native integration. Let's yarn up. I'm hoping with Streamlabs OBS that we don't have the lagginess. So if you notice anything, please do call it out. And loading all of that up. Okay, good. And then now what we need to do is open the Xcode project. So .xc workspace. You want to open the XC workspace rather than the Xcode project, or what is it? Xcode project, yeah. You don't want to open the Xcode project because there's an Xcode project, but then there's a workspace. The workspace includes your pods. Includes your pod, your Cocoa pods. Xcode project does not. So that's why you open the workspace. Workspace is, you think of the workspace as being like your entire desk, where a project is just one project on that desk. That's how I think about it anyway. Cool. And it kind of looks, oh, chat box is off. No, it's not off. It's just like not in the right spot. Hey, Nicole. Hey, Julian. Thank you. Appreciate it. Why is the chat kind of off there? That's strange. I don't know if there's anything I can do. I guess I can move it over a little bit and hope that this is better, but you know what? I'll leave it for now. And now's not the time to be messing with it. So lock everything down and hope we're good. Metaphors are helpful. Yeah, you know what? That's the way that I learn, and kind of I have to kind of think things through in those ways. So yeah. Let me know if the music is too loud or whatever. Like, I'm still like, we just switched over to Streamlabs OBS, so like I don't want to blow anybody's eardrums out. And I'm using loopback, which might be a bad idea. Loopback basically is we have this audio mixer, and instead of capturing audio desktop or desktop audio, I'm feeding it through my microphone essentially and back in. Not ideal, but it's not actually through my microphone. It's through my mixing console. Okay, so let's. What are we gonna run this on? iPhone 12? Yeah, sure. Why not? So we're just gonna run it. Tell me if it drops out at all. The whole reason to going to Streamlabs OBS is to have fewer drops and stuff like that. Production quality is always good. I appreciate that. If that's you saying our production quality is good. If you're saying the concept of production quality being good, I agree with that as well. Like we like to have high quality stuff here. So okay, so launching. I don't know why it says RNDiff app. Actually curious. Does that exist here? So this launch screen, that's kind of annoying. But easy to fix, I guess. I assume that we'll have to check and see if oh, you know what? This is gonna break, isn't it? Because we have the native integration for Android. So last time I built an Android native module. Now it doesn't exist in iOS, so this is gonna break, which is okay. It's a good thing to have good production quality in general. I feel like that's a thing that when you go the extra mile a little bit, not even a little bit, like you really, really focus on it, it ends up paying off, because really you only have to do that initially. And then you get all the systems in place and it looks good, and you know, like you have it set right. Yeah, it's kind of annoying at first, but like later it becomes really no more work than doing it badly. So, okay, so yes, we have this brokenness here. All right, let's start with our, let's go look. Let's go see what we need to do here. So React Native docs, and we're gonna go to native, I'm not gonna make that mistake again. Native components. Oh, I just thought of something. I need to verify on Twitch. Whoops, no, I don't want to just go to Twitch. That's gonna give me some random. Okay, go to my thing here. And making an iOS native component, and I've got the right tags, and yeah, okay. Yeah, it's looking good. Good. All right. I was just thinking that the React Native Radio podcast sounds much better now than before Infinite Red took it over. Thank you for noticing. We put a lot of work into that. If you have not listened to React Native Radio 200, the episode 200, here, let me go find it. You need to listen to that. It's really, we explain kind of what we did, essentially, to make it sound better. Behind the scenes in it, React Native Radio. I'll put that into the chat. Yeah, thanks, Nicole. Okay, so Android, and now here's iOS native UI components. All right, there are tons of, and I'm going to make the text a little bigger here for those of you who are old like me, or just need it a little bigger for any reason. There are tons of native UI widgets ready to be used in the latest apps, if I could read here. Some of them are part of the platform, others are available as third-party libraries, and still more might be used in your very own portfolio. Several platform components already wrapped, like scroll view text input. This is a more advanced guide that assumes you are somewhat familiar with iOS programming. I am. This guide will show you how to build a native UI component, walking you through the implementation of a subset of the existing map view component available in the core React Native library. Let's say we want to add an interactive map. This is not what we're going to be doing, but this will give us some sort of a thing here. So native views are created and manipulated by classes of, RCT View Manager. Similar in function to view controllers, but are essentially singletons. Only one instance of each is created by the bridge. By the way, we're going to be using Xcode to do the editing here. Oh, hey, check it out. It shows 8 viewers right now on my React Native Live thing at the bottom here. Wrong way. Wow, I'm bad at this. Okay, that way. I set up that little widget and it actually is working. That's cool. Let's see. Expose native views to the RCT UI manager, which delegates back to them to set and update the properties of the views as necessary. The RCT view, and RCT just refers to React, because in Objective-C, there wasn't a concept of like namespacing or modules or whatever. Hey, Darren. Thanks for tuning in. So instead of doing like, hey, this is all in the React namespace, they just prefixed, habitually they would do like a 2 or 3 letter abbreviation. So RCT being React kind of makes sense. Now, if you might see things that are like UI something, like UI view example, that's an example. That's just the UI kit namespace essentially added onto view. There's also like UI view controller or UI button, UI color. All those things are modules within the UI kit namespace. Swift, I think, has namespacing, but this is still kind of a thing to this day. We are going to be using Objective-C here, not Swift. in future React Native lives, I will be doing some Swift. So don't you worry. Subclass RCT view manager to create a manager for your component. Add the RCT export module marker macro. Does anybody want to know what a macro is? I could explain, but it's a diversion. Implement the UI view. Well, it's really the view method that returns. This is like the return signature. A UI view pointer. Hopefully not VBA. And then, yeah, hopefully not. I did VBA back in the day, so. This dash right here means it's an instance method. It would be a, instead of a minus, it would be a plus if it was a class method. All right. So we are going to create one that is going to be the, what did we call it in, let's see here. Browser view. So we're going to be making a browser, Browser View Manager, I guess. Yeah, Browser View Manager in the iOS part of this. We can close Android. We're not using that. Let's go to iOS. Actually, we're doing this in Xcode. I said that we were going to do it in Xcode, and we should do it in Xcode. All right. So, what am I missing? Yeah, this is all right there. So, so we have all of this stuff. Let's go ahead and create a new file. And we're going to be doing a... Hold on. Okay, so this is an M file. So this is an Objective-C file. .m is Objective-C. It's scary to think VBA may be many office workers' first and only programming language. Hey, I wrote a VBA script that essentially automated a full job away once. I'll have to tell that story some other time. VBA was my first, definitely not my only. I guess C++ was technically my first, but VBA was the first that I actually built something useful in. That's the same with me. I mean, QBasic, then C++, and then VBA. And that VBA was actually something useful that I think for over a decade powered the whole scheduling thing for the home building company that built this house. Okay, so what we need here is browser view manager.m. And I guess we're just putting it right in here. I don't know if we need anything else. Just drop it right in there. There it is. And then let's just copy this stuff over, and then we'll look at it and kind of explain it a little bit here. So what we have here, we are importing, and we don't need to import mapkit. I don't need that right now. We are importing RCT view manager.h. Now there's a difference between angle brackets and putting quotes, and I believe that this means that it's like a framework. Quotes would be like a local file. We have an interface here, and then and that's sort of like it's a lot like a TypeScript interface. Then we have the implementation, which is like a class. This is like class in TypeScript. We're not going to do RNT map manager. We're going to do browser view manager. Thanks for the follow, H46ES. And I am very happy that my notification worked in the bottom bar, because I was playing around with that and not entirely sure that that was going to work. So thanks for testing it out. Killing jobs since he first learned to code. You know what happened was, okay, so there was a guy that was doing scheduling. It was taking him like 50 hours a week to do scheduling. And it took forever. But a lot of what he was doing was transferring from one schedule to individual schedules for each subcontractor, like electrician, plumber, insulation, roofers, people like that. And so what I did was I made a single button that he could hit that would transfer this information really quickly. And then he just had to go through and kind of validate it all. He went from like 50 hours a week to about 4 to make that work. What he did then, he was actually near retirement, but what he did was he then took over some, honestly, pretty neglected warranty work that needed to be done. So people would say, hey, I got a problem with this door or something like that. And he would actually then file those. And that was very manual because he had to contact the right subcontractor and like get them scheduled and whatever. Still kind of similar scheduling. But yeah, they used that for about 10 years. MK map view. We're not doing that. We're not doing this. So let's just do UI view alloc. Now, let me explain a few things that are going on here. And actually, I need to make this a little bigger, don't I? There we go. And sorry, it's white background. I could make this dark background. Feel free to let me know if you want me to do that. So we are importing RCT View Manager, which is then this interface is basically saying that it's inheriting from RCT View, the React View Manager. Good pre-retirement job. Exactly. And then he retired like 5 years later, less than 5 years. It's like 3 years later he retired. Browser View Manager. We're now implementing, we're inside of, now in Objective-C, you do these @ symbols to kind of start and end your classes and whatever. So like in here, for example, there would be other stuff if you needed to add anything to the interface. Now we have this macro, RCT export module. And what the heck? That was weird. I heard, maybe it was in the music. Sorry about that. Skip to the next song. All right. So we have this RCT export module, and then we actually need to tell it Browser View Manager. So we're taking the manager and we're telling it, go ahead and set this up for React. And RCT export module is a macro that will essentially like rewrite this whole thing so that it works for React. Probably add some stuff that we need, rewrites some things, changes it. But all we have to do is add this and it's good to go. So this macro is like meta programming. It's like programming that programs for you. And then we do a method. So this is a method. It returns a UI view pointer, which is that's a UI view, and this just indicates pointer. Don't get too hung up on that. Essentially, it's just returning a UI view. The name of the method is just view. So inside of a view manager, you have to return a view. And so in the body of the function, which is written like this, not like your normal, like, I mean, you can do this. It's just Objective-C developers would look at this a little strangely. Like, why are you doing that? This is how they do it. And then we're returning, and now this is where things get weird if you're not used to Objective-C. All right, they get really weird. What are these square brackets? Are we making arrays? No, we're not. We're not making arrays. So you read it from the inside out. It's sort of like in math class how the parentheses like surround a statement, and you like do a quantity within that, the parentheses, and then you go out, from there. So you solve initially, okay? What this really is here, and you can actually write it this way. This is what's going on. We are doing uiview.alloc.init, and then you put parentheses to like call it, right? This would be like a JavaScript way. However, and actually you can't put parentheses in Objective-C. It's calling it right now. Like the parentheses are, it's sort of like, this is, call this. This actually works. This works in Objective-C, but I would not recommend doing it that way because Objective-C developers get very weird about this. Now, if you're in Swift, works, Swift developers are fine with this. So what are we doing? We are doing the same thing. So if you put square brackets and a space around something, it's the same thing as doing a dot in between. So like this also works. If I put a dot here and remove the square brackets, it works. Calling that. So we're going to put square brackets around it. And first thing we're doing is we're allocating memory for this. The second thing we're going to do is initialize. Now, there's actually a shortcut to this. On most things, you can do new. So UI view new, all new does, new only will call new equals alloc.init. That's what it is, okay? So if we say UI view new, we're good. But again, most of the time we're doing alloc init because a lot of times we need to pass stuff into init, and we will be doing that in this, probably, maybe, I don't know. Okay, we've got that. Now, let's look at the next thing that they tell us to do here. So do not attempt to set the frame, which is, you can do like alloc init, you see here, init with frame, and then you would like make a rectangle using the core graphics stuff. So like CG rect make, and then I could just be like 0, 0, 320, 500. Okay. So I could actually make, using this kind of like C function here, I can make a rectangle and tell it, use that frame when you initialize. But we're not going to do that because it told us not to. Or the background color properties on the UI view instance that you expose through the view method. React Native will overwrite the values set by your custom class in order to match your JavaScript components layout properties, like style, right? So like style would be like left, width, height, you know, all that stuff, flexbox using Yoga, which is the layout engine. So all this stuff is kind of a, you know, that's what that's about. So if you need this granularity of control, it might be better to wrap the UI view instance you want to style in another UI view and return the wrapper UI view instead. See issue, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Prefixes are used to avoid name collisions within other frameworks. Apple frameworks use 2-letter prefixes, and React Native uses RCT. In order to avoid name collisions, we recommend using a 3-letter prefix other than RCT in your own classes. And so like, if I were to follow this, I might do something like jam, you know, like drop this in. All right. You know, jam Bowser, blah, blah, blah. I don't care. This is my app. I can do whatever I want. So ignore the docs always. Then you need a little bit of JavaScript to make this a usable React component. So we need to import all this stuff, but we're already doing that. We are already doing that with Bowser View, right? So let's go look at where React require native component is. No. Why? Okay. Here it is. Okay. So require native component, right? And then we have that, and we are grabbing, oh, it is RCT Bowser View. We did name it RCT. Okay, whatever. I guess we'll do that. So there's that, and let's rename this as well. I think I can just hit enter on it. Yeah, RCT. And there it is. Okay. So now we have the view manager there, and we're bringing it in. Now, I still don't think it'll work, but let's try to run it in our simulator. Hey, by the way, any glitchiness so far on the stream? Because I'm really interested to know if Streamlabs is working better. Hey, it didn't crash. Not at all for you, Kate? All right, good. It did not crash. It did not crash. That means that it is finding the view that we're creating. Stream has been good, Nicole. All right, cool. So you'll notice that there's nothing here, but we do have it. Now, let's do something kind of fun. Yeah, let's do something kind of fun here. So let's do this. what we're going to do is we're going to say UI view wrapper, whoops, equals that. And do I need a star there? I always forget. I think I do. And then what we're going to do is do UI view subview, UI view alloc, and then remember that init with frame. CG rect make, and we're gonna make it 0 0 50 50. So it's just gonna be kind of small, just 50 pixels. We're gonna say subview dot set back. Why is this not working? Set or just back. Oh yeah. Okay, so here's another. I'll do this in a second. UI color gray color. All right, and then wrapper dot add subview. Why is this? Oh, I always add subview. Subview. Forgot about the square brackets, right? Wrapper there. Okay. So what do we got? What's going on here? Expected identifier. Oh, whoops. One extra set of square brackets. There we go. Okay, let's run it. And we should get a little like gray box. So, and I'll explain all of this in a second. Hey, you see that gray box right there? Pretty cool, huh? All right, let me explain all this. By the way, I don't want wrapping. How do I turn off? Structure. It's got to be in here, right? Word wrap. I thought that would be easier. Like just in editor somewhere. Layout, refactoring, issues, canvas. Well, we can turn off the minimap. That helps. Okay, so let's talk about this. So I create a wrapper. Again, UI view. The asterisk just means that this is a pointer, which basically means that it's referencing something somewhere else. It's not actually holding all of the data in the variable. It's referencing the data which is somewhere else, which is kind of cool because then you can like pass it around as just an integer. Basically, it's just an integer or a long integer or a double or something like that. And then we're just creating a blank view for the wrapper. Just it's like just a blank view, and then we make a subview. And this time we init it with a frame, and we give it this frame of 0 0 50 50. We set the background color. So you notice that this is like dot syntax here, kind of mixed in with all this square bracket stuff. This desugars to that. So if you have dot equals, it's like space set, more or less. So like subview set background color to that. So it just sets the background color. I could also do the same thing if I wanted to with subview set frame, right? And then I could pass in, instead of doing init with frame, which is a convenience initializer, I could just go with that. And so then that would mean that we could just go on both of these. We could just say new, because we don't need that like custom initializer anymore. So we can just grab a couple of new UI views, wrapper and sub view. We can set the background color of the sub view, set the frame of the sub view, and then with the wrapper, we're going to run a method called add sub view, which is like adding that view to inside of my wrapper and just pass in the sub view, and then I return the wrapper. Does that all make sense? I hope this is making sense. This is Objective-C. It's not that bad. It really isn't. Well, it might get bad in certain cases, but this isn't that bad. You can understand this. These square brackets are running a method. By the way, convention is to not put spaces there, I think. Okay, so this should all work if I run it again. And let's see what happens there. Yep, it's working. So, awesome. Now, what we really want to do, though, is an image. We want to bring in an image. So, because we are passing through this onPress for Bowser, and the onPress right now isn't doing anything. I guess I could do like alert. Whoops. Alert. I'm not going to do that right now, but we could do an onPress on that. So what we really want to do here in our native thing is not, we don't actually, we want to make this whole thing like a full image right now. So let's do that with just the wrapper actually. UI image view. Alec knit with image, I guess. So I need to look this up. UI image view and knit with image. And then we got to actually create an image. Languages Objective-C. You always have to check in the documentation for this. Make sure that you're not on Swift. Initial image. You can also do like a highlighted image too, but we're just gonna, okay, so now we need to look up UI image, which I'm gonna click through here. So, image named in bundle compatible with trait collection. Some of these method names are just, they don't make sense. With contents of file, image, initial data. Calith SC2, thanks for the follow. I appreciate you jumping in with us. Is equal. Image named is one that I remember using a lot. Image, asset, or file. All right, so let's grab an image. Let's find an image of some sort. Actually, we have one in. We have the Bowser one. And we also have, actually, if I go to Android in, let's see here. Here it is. Here's the logo that we were using. So I'll grab the same one. So it's this Google image. So I'm just going to drag this down here for a second, and I'm going to name it google.png. All right. So now if I go to my images XC asset here, and I need to adjust some things. What we want to do, it's been a long time since I've done this. All right, so hit plus here. New image set, I guess. We're going to call this Google. And then I don't know if we can just drag it in here. I think so. Okay, there's the 1x. We could also do like a 2, we could provide a 2x and a 3x. We're not going to do that. All right, so we have that. Now, I believe we can just do UI image. Actually, here, let me do it in a little easier way. I'm going to make a, by the way, this should be image view here. So UI, by the way, UI image view does inherit from UI view. So it would be a UI view as well as a UI image view. Glad to be here. Love the podcast. React Native for life. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So UI image equals, and then we'll just go UI image named. And then when you're doing a string in Objective-C, you don't want to just do quotes. You have to put an @ symbol in front of them. That means this is like an NS string. This is like a string object. It's a string object literal. And I think we called it Google. Can I actually, there's no completions really? Okay. So we have this image, right? And then now what we need to do is pass that in right there. So that is now there. We don't need the sub view anymore. That can all go away. We're just going to return the wrapper. So we have the image and we have the wrapper. What I don't remember is whether it will stretch this properly, but we'll see. So we're going to hit run. So far, iOS has been way easier than Android. Way easier. Not even close. Sorry, Android fans, but it's just the case. Like way less. Hey, it's stretched, but it's there. That's cool. Remember how long it took us? If you were here for the Android one, remember how long it took us to get to this point? Like, wow. We have an image. Now, technically, I was not displaying a local image. I was displaying a remote image using that. And maybe there's a way to do that. I guess we could look that up. But let's do the animation instead first, and then let's go from there. So, cool. So, UI image view on press. Click event on UI image programmatically. We need a gesture recognizer. Okay. So I remember this stuff. It's been a little while. I do remember it though. So we're going to take a look at this here in a second. Just going to move this over a bit here so we have more room. Okay. So we have our wrapper here. And what we're going to do is we're going to add a gesture recognizer. So UI gesture recognizer. And we're going to call this one, I guess, single tap. By the way, it looks like they're all putting the star in front of the, and I actually think that is, now that I look at it, correct. So tap, and I'm just going to go tap, right? Equals, and let's make this bigger. UI gesture recognizer, and I think we're alloc initting here. Yep, we're alloc init with target. Alloc init with target action. All right, so the target is going to be self. So in other words, I'm calling an action on my current view. And then the action itself would be at selector, and then I'm going to call it on press. I'll explain this in a second here. So at selector here, oops, I need to properly semicolon that. Okay, so it's saying, hey, grab this view manager, and when there's a tap, then run the on press method, okay? And the selector just means like, I don't know why they call it selector, to be honest. It's an old thing. That's been around since I remember I was like researching this in 2010, 2011, first learning Objective-C, and that was a thing. So it comes from somewhere. And then I think we have void. Let me go back and look. Yeah, void tap detected. So I'm just going to go on press here. And we've got our on press. I don't think I need anything. There's the parentheses, I guess. Okay. So on press, now we're going to need to do something, and then the other thing we need to do here is do wrapper. I think it's like, what is it? Oh, and we do need the number of taps required. Let's do that stuff first. So tap, and I'm going to do it the Objective-C way. Set number. Wait, what? Number of touches. This must be old or something. By default, number of taps required is 1. So we don't need that. We don't need that at all. Okay, we can get rid of that. And what was the other thing that they had? Is user interaction enabled? Oh, that was the image view as well. So we need to set that. So we would say set is user interaction enabled. So you're going to look at this and be like, what the heck? Yes? Really? Although actually it looks like they're using true here. But yes is a thing. Okay. So, okay, set user interaction enabled, and then add. So then we actually have to then add the gesture recognizer. So wrapper add gesture recognizer, and now we just tap the tap there. All right. So now this wrapper UI image interaction is enabled, right? And we've now added a gesture recognizer that when things happen, it'll recognize that and it'll trigger on its delegate, which is self, and it will trigger the on press. Expected method body. Oh, that's, yeah, okay. I don't need that parenthesis. Yeah, I was looking at the wrong thing. They actually did that. That's fine. So nslog single tap on image view. Let's just do that. Let's do the nslog thing here. Okay, so we have the gesture recognizer. Now we're not triggering the on press yet, but we are, I'm sorry, the JavaScript on press, but we are triggering a native on press. So we're going to be watching down here. And so let's see what happens. Not getting anything. Interesting. So let's look through this again. We have the tap. Maybe we do need to do like tap dot. Man, this is not a very good. Like it's not going to tell me allowed touch types. Just allowed press types, allowed touch types. All right, let's look at this. We did add the number of taps. We did not add that. We did not add this. I mean, I guess we do that. All right, let's try that. Tap dot number of taps required is 1. All right, let's rerun this. Number of, okay. So it was number of something though. Touches 1. Yeah, I think it tells us how many touches there have been. That's just a read-only property. Okay, well, let's go look at UI. Oh, that's why. We're not actually doing UI tap. UI tap gesture recognizer. That gives us what we want. I think. I missed that. So is that done? It's working though. So when I tap on the image, I'm getting the single tap on image view thing down below here. Which is encouraging. That means that we are running this when the tap gesture recognizer is there. So gesture recognizer is a more broad thing that you can use all kinds of different gesture recognizers and to do various things. But now what we want to do is like animate this image to be like spinning. So let's look objectives, see image view flip animation. So UI view transition with view duration flip from right. Okay, let's give this one a shot. And this should also, because this is this okay. So this image view here, we need to actually pass it through. But we can't do that here. So what we're going to do is we are going to do and I forget how to do this, to be honest. It's been so long. So what we want to do is we want to hang on to a reference. And so we need a private objective, C private class instance property. So yeah, this is the app property thing. So what we're gonna do here is actually no, that's in the interface, I believe. Yeah, that's the interface, and then we can synthesize it. But we can just put it in up here. That's good. All right, so this will be a UI image view wrapper, like so. And then what we can do is instead of doing that, we can say self.wrapper. And anywhere that we have wrapper, we can say self.wrapper, which allows us to do this here. Duration 0.4, options, UI view animation option, transition flip from right, set the animation to a new image. We are not going to do that right now. And then do whatever when the animation is finished. Okay, I'll explain this in a bit. And this is really messed up looking, right? Property wrapper. Oh, yeah. My bad. It should just be wrapper. No self on this. Self only if it is a public. But all we did was like add this here. So it's not like a public like instance variable or property, I mean. Okay, that's what should happen here is we should see that animation happen. And we'll still get this this log. Okay. Hey. True. Yeah, it's working. Man, we are making so much more progress than we did on Android. Okay, let's talk about this. So, UI view has a class level method, which means that it's like a method that you just run right on UI view rather than an instance. Like if it was a instance thing, I would be doing like wrapper transition with view, etc. But UI view has a class method called transition with view duration options animations completion. All right, that's literally the name of the method, which is long, right? But it is transition with view, and then you give it the view, which in our case is just wrapper, which is this right here, which is then set right here and created and updated a couple times. Duration 0.4 seconds, I would assume. Options, and then in this case we just flip from right. We could say, you know, flip from top. Let's try top, you know. You can imagine what that will do. And then animations, and you have this funky syntax, but really what this is just like this is like an anonymous function. It's sort of like think of like a fat arrow function in JavaScript. This is basically like if you were to write that, right? You remember that syntax in JavaScript? That's what we're doing. Okay, this is the format for Objective-C, is just to put this little caret and the curly, and that makes a lambda right there. Boom, you've got your little anonymous function. Set the new image. Since it's done in an animation block, the change will be animated. So this is going to animate the image from the original image to the new image, because this is in the animations, right? You can make any other changes you want right here. You could set the height, or you could set the opacity. Let's actually do that. Let's go image view set elf. I thought there was like a transparency thing here. Let me go check. UI view opacity. It's just alpha. Okay. Set alpha. Okay. Image view dot alpha equals 0.1, I guess. So this should animate. Not image view. Sorry, wrapper. My bad. No wonder. So wrapper. And so if I run this and then click it, it should like animate from. We should actually make this long. Let's make this really long so you can see it in action. Y'all learning some Objective-C here? Willingly or not. All right, when I click it, watch. Oh, it's kind of off the screen. So when I click this, see that? It's all the opacity animated away as well. I'm going to actually do this. Wrapper.elf minus, or let's see here, 1.0. And then I will set the wrapper alpha. All right. So this is going to be kind of fun because it will animate to 0.1 and then back to 0.9 and then back to 0.1. See the little trick I did here? 1.0 minus. So the first time it'll be 0.9, so it'll go to 0.1. When it's 0.1, it will go 1.0 minus 0.1 and it'll go to 0.9. So it goes away, comes back, goes away, comes back. I mean, I probably don't even need to. I could make it totally animate away. But yeah, so that's cool. When the animation is completely finished, then you can do something else if you need to. You know, I could kick off another animation, or I could do whatever. You may be wondering why there's all this blank space over here. Well, that's because in Objective-C, you line up the colons on these. You line them right up here. I'm not a big fan, but it is how you do it. So in 1 hour, we got to that point. Oh, one thing we haven't done yet, though, is do a communication back over the bridge telling it, hey, there's an on press, right? So let's see. So there's properties here, like zoom enabled. And then, oh, it's custom view property is what we're doing here. So export view property. So you could set, you could probably set the URL if you wanted to here, for example, or the name of the image. But we're not going to do that. What I do want to do is events. Okay, so now we have a native map component that we control freely from JS. How do we deal with the events from the user, like pinch zooms or panning to change the visible region? We can't add new properties because we have to create a new subclass. Add an on region change on this subclass. So okay, right here. Property non-atomic copy RCT bubbling event block on region change. And this is going in the H file. I wonder if we can just do it up here in this interface. I think we can do that. I may be wrong. So this will be on press. RCT bubbling event block. And then we need all RCT bubbling event blocks must be prefixed with on. By the way, block is what I was talking about earlier, that lambda function, that like fat arrow function basically. That is, excuse me, that is what a block is. Next, declare an event handler property on that. Make it a delegate for all the views it exposes and forward events to JS by calling the event handler block from the native view. So there's an on region. So we do need to export the view property from the implementation. So we're going to do that. Whoops. export view property. Actually, does the module? Yeah, module goes first. And this will be, instead of on region change, it'll be on press. And then set region, custom view property, view map delegate is self. And then right here, it's saying pragma mark. I don't remember what pragma mark is all about, to be honest. MK map view delegate. Oh, I don't need this. Yeah, I don't need this at all. Okay. That's just for the map stuff. But if there is an on region changed, we need to actually call it on region change. So, which would basically be a self. You know what? I don't actually know. Conflicting return type and invitation on press. Yeah, so this is the native part. So we need to actually, I'm going to say on press native here. And then this is going to be on press native so that we don't conflict with that. So now we have this on press. And we know that we're tapping. So let's go wrapper on press. Do we pass back anything, or is it just empty? No, there is an event, so we do need to pass. What? Oh, no. Sorry. Self on press. And then we need to pass back kind of like some sort of an object. Okay, so this is actually pretty complicated here, but what we're doing is we are taking this on press, we're exporting a view property, which is this on press RCT bubbling event block style thing. Non-atomic, don't worry about it. You just put it in there. Copy, don't worry about it. These things are just sort of like telling this property macro that, hey, we're doing some stuff here, so do your thing. And then now we're actually calling it. Now we have to pass back. If you remember in our actual thing, when we send back the on press, we are building this thing with like it's like a native event of some sort. So we have like this message in the event. So I need to actually figure out how to send back like just a Objective C, what do we call it? Object literal, I guess. Is that a thing I can do? No, that's not it. Literal dictionary. I guess we can do NS dictionary. So we can just do this. That's right. So that's arrays, but we can also do dictionaries like so. Cool. All right. So this should give us the ability to do this like message thing. So let's do that. It's at curly, and inside of here we will do at message, and then we'll do hello. So we're passing back the payload here. Right there. I don't know if this is going to work. Let's try it. No visible interface. No visible. So this is why we need the .h file. Okay, so what we need to do is create a header file. New file, header file. We're going to call it rct browser view manager.h. So we're making a header file. I don't know what all this stuff is, but let's see here. So what we need to do is actually define an interface, I believe. Yeah, so we're like importing stuff here and we're bringing this in and okay. Sorry, this is just a little more than I really wanted to do here, but so we are gonna import the header file, which is, yeah, we just have to import it like that. So what we're gonna do here is go import RCT. Why is my music so annoying right now? Browser View Manager H. Okay, and then we can actually pull all these imports into the H file. So I can drop this in here. We're gonna grab the H file. What else we're gonna grab? We're going to tell it. So there's that. Let's see if I can. Oh, I got rid of, let me back it out here for a second. Yeah, I need that. And then I can do the import. What? RCT, there we go. So if I go back to the header file, I should be able to paste this in. We can move the property into there. And maybe, just maybe, this will start working. Maybe we do need that still. I don't know. It's been a long time since I've done this stuff, and it's honestly duplicate interface first. See, I thought that was the case. I thought we didn't need to do that. All right, let's just run it. See what happens. It'll tell us if there's a problem. So we basically took that like interface thing and put it in its own file, which makes it public, which is important because this on-press needs to be public. If it's in here, it's private and nothing can read it. Okay, no visible interface for RCT. Declares the selector on-press. Oh, I think we need, no, this is right. RC declares the selector on press. I believe there's something here where I didn't do this quite right. On region change, importing. I mean, this is just doing like the dot notation. I guess we can try that. Is that going to allow me to do that? Maybe. It'd be weird if dot notation works. Set on press, unrecognize, selector, sent to instance. So the image view set on press does not like that. I think, okay. I need to reset here a little bit. So what we're running into right now is I didn't expect it to be telling me that the UI image view is trying to have like a on press set on it. So what is going on here? Why is this thing trying to set an on press? You know, this is like a UI or a RCT browser view manager, not a UI image view, which is this one right here. So why is wrapper getting the on press set on it? If I come back here, we have the on press RCT browser view manager. All right, let me go look at the documentation again. And in the H file, we have interface and we have the, oh, that's defining the view. The view itself. That's why. That's why. Okay. No wonder I was so confused. Okay, we can leave this. We don't need this. We actually don't need this whole file, to be honest. But it's okay, we can leave it. Everything should still work. Now, what we need here, we need to create a new, we can't just have a UI image view. We need our own image view, like our own view. Yeah. So like if I go here and I say plus file, and it's going to be an Objective-C, it'll be a view. Swift UI view. Why don't I just go with an Objective-C file, and we're going to call this the browser image view. Next. Wait, did I do .m? Okay, it did it for me. Cool. So we're going to be doing some stuff here. I don't think I need foundation. But we do need, I'm going to go new file, browser, Objective-C file, or no, actually no, it would be a header. This is again a .h, so browser image view, and again I probably need the RCT browser image view. I should have done that originally. So let's rename this one too. Okay, RCT. Everybody following? What we're trying to do is make a view that allows us to set some custom properties to the image view that we're trying to do here. So in the view manager, instead of being a UI image view, this is going to be an RCT browser image view. It's going to be different, okay? And that means that when we create this, we need to do RCT browser image view, which we do need to go into the browser image view. And this is where we're going to import this. And of course, I have to make some changes here. So this would be a UI image view. So we're inheriting from UI image view, right? And then we are doing the on press on the image view. This is a brand new view. It's like a UI image view, but it also has that on press. Okay, so RCT browser image view is right there. Okay, cool. Now we go to the M view. Or the implementation, I should say, and we import that, and we just do like a empty implementation there, and then we go to our, oops, this should be RCT browser image view. This should be the same. Okay, so we implement that, and now we go back to the view manager. This is the H file, this is the M file, and we go to We do need these use undeclared identifier. We need to import that. Image view. So we get that. We grab just the header file. Will be good. It basically will pull in the subclass that we just created, the UI image view subclass. That's just called RCT browser image view. Okay, and then so we have our view property, which is in our map manager. So let's do that. Let's do that here, and we're gonna do on press, and it's going to be that. And then so the view so now I can just, instead of doing self, I can do wrapper here, because supposedly wrapper has on press on it. I don't know. Let's hit run. I think I've done a lot of changes, and yeah, build failed. All right, what did we do wrong? What did we do wrong? Interface RCT browser image view. Cannot find image UI image view. Okay. I think I just need to bring in. I just need to bring in. UI kit, I guess. Import. Whoops. I think that's all I need to do. That should tell it that, hey, here's your image view. This is what, like, you just have to import it. Build succeeded. Okay, it's not broken, which is good. Now, is it calling? Is it calling this on press event? Like reload and it appears that it's calling the event. Let's go into our native code here and to the view manager. This is difficult to read because I don't have it quite wide enough. Okay. Remember how that said hello? I'm gonna say hello from native. All right. So like this is native code, right? This is not JavaScript. We're running this in native code. If this comes through with hello from native in our in right here, then we're done. We did everything we wanted to do. Hello from native. There it is. What do you think, folks? Hey, you know what? I'm going to also bring up the Android simulator. Pretty cool, huh? So here's the idea. We're going to have the two up. We only have one JavaScript like interface, right? We're just using that browser view right here. We're giving it a style, and we have an on-press event with the console log and stuff. This is our only like JavaScript interface for this. But there's actually two different native implementations, right? So once this loads up, then we will see the two different implementations. They'll act differently, they'll look differently, they have the same interface. And so you can like match them up if you want, or you can have them do different things if you want. But yeah, I mean, that's basically it. Why did you fail? Insufficient storage. Wow. All right. Instead of doing that, let's open Android Studio and run it from there. There's probably a way to fix that, but Android Studio is going to be the easiest way to do this. And we already have native integration open, so that's cool. Hey, Metallurgia Mexico. Hola. All right, yeah, let's run this. Looks like it's syncing right now. We'll wait a little bit. We'll be patient. Yeah, this wasn't too bad. Android was definitely more work to get it to work. There were more steps for sure. This is still working here. Can I run it now? Yeah, Android was definitely more work to get working. iOS, I'm kind of pleased by how reasonable it was. Of course, part of that's also my familiarity with iOS as well. Are those emulators of cell operating systems show the result of the program? That's true. Yeah, that's exactly what they are. The one on the left is called an emulator, and it's the Android emulator. The one on the right is called the iOS simulator because it does things a little differently, but for all intents and purposes, they're the same thing. And so I can see on the left a Nexus 5X. You can see up here, Nexus 5X with using API 29 x86 architecture. On the right, I have an iPhone 12 running iOS 14.5. And between the two of them, yeah, they're both running the same app. So we're just demonstrating how on the right-hand side, we have an iOS app that has native integrations because this is all happening on the native side. And then on the left, we will also show that once we get a chance. It's kind of interesting. If I click this like multiple times, it doesn't like keep going. It's like it just ignores the additional clicks. Still finished, successfully finished. One thing we could do in the time we have left is make this actually download the image like this one does. Yep, there it is. It's working. Let's go look here. We have my message pops in there and hello from native pops in there, but they're both working with the same JavaScript interface. By the way, animation in Android was quite simple as well. Both of them are very simple. Yeah, cool. So that is working. Let's make it so that we can actually download this instead of like embedding the image. Let's download it from an external source. So I'm gonna have to do some Googling on how to do that though. UI image download from URL. Not on Swift, but Objective-C. I always like to upvote these. It's just good. This isn't asynchronous. Background call, perform selector in background. Yeah, that's true. You can just do that. That is true. That is true. Could also use dispatch. Yep, async. So I mean, any of this code would work. I do like Grand Central Dispatch, which is one of the more popular ways to do asynchronous. And this, of course, downloads from yeah, I mean, let's do this first. Let's do this first, and then whoops, this one here. Let's do this one first and see how it feels. It may feel horrible, in which case then we'll do it differently. But okay, so we have this image, and instead of being this UI image, we're gonna go like this, and that URL we're gonna have to grab that again from our native, no, from our there it is. Google. There we go. So we're going to replace this with that. And then we're going to we don't need auto release anymore. That's old school. That's very old school. Back in the day, you used to have to auto release. Okay, so wrapper init with image, and then this is okay. I just need to rename this to image. So we get the URL, we get the data, which this is the download. This is like this is the problematic. This is like slow or stops the UI until it finishes downloading, which you don't generally want to do. All right. Now, the only problem with this is that we won't be able to see if it changes. So let's go find a different URL. I'm just going to go to google.com and no, that's not what I wanted to do. All right. Well, let's find a different image. Let's go to, I mean, it appears to work, right? But it's just the same image, so I don't know. Let's go to one second here. Copy link address. Okay, let's try this one. Oops. Right here. So now the Bowser PNG should show up now instead of the Google one. And let's watch it. Let's see how much it delays loading this all up. I mean, it wasn't too bad. I mean, it would definitely be a problem, but yeah, it's working. It's doing what it needs to do, and it is downloading. So what the idea here, I guess, is that we would do all of this stuff in a background thing. So let's say we go like void load image async. All right. We just drop this in, and then instead of, so I do like wrapper dot, we need to init with image. I'll just go UI image new. Just like a blank image, I guess. So then we would do like set image or image equals image. So load image async, and then we would kick that method off using the perform selector in background. All right. So like, so after we create the wrapper, we would just start this background process of load image async, and it's just like running in the background. Okay. In order to make sure that this works, let's find another image of some sort. Let's do this image. This one is a JPEG. Let's hit run. All right. So it should start with like a blank, and then it pops in the image once it's done downloading. There it did. There it is. It worked. That is a picture of me playing goalie, which I did just win my Summer League championship last night. We beat the Liquid Gold team, who were kind of jerks about it. Well, some of them were. Some of them were really cool. That's my backup stick. I normally have a different one that doesn't have this tape on it, but I still use that as my backup. But yeah. All right, it's working. Well, pretty happy with how this all kind of came together. And I think I'm pretty well done with the stream now. I will push up these changes as a new, let's do a commit here. So yeah, there's a bunch of iOS stuff here. So added iOS native component. And I will push that up. Let me actually find that URL for you folks. GitHub. Jamin Holmgren, and it is native integration is what it is. And here's the commit. I'll put this in there so you can check it out. Everything that I did. Looks like some of this stuff is just like Xcode stuff, but then you can see my RCT Bowser image view. You can see the header file where I just like import a couple things and create an interface. And then you can also see my implementation, which is just a basic implementation, doesn't have anything in it. And then you can see my, by the way, right here, this, let's see. This property here, onPress, means that it can set the onPress event, or sorry, the onPress on that. So, and then when I go here and I say export view property onPress, that's what's setting it. So like it passes through the onPress over to it, and it is a RCT bubbling event log. So basically a fat arrow. So, and then we have the view, and we create the wrapper with just a blank image. We could do a placeholder if we wanted to, but this is just a blank image. And then we kick off this selector in background, which is just running this in the background. Once it's done, it grabs the wrapper image and sets it to the image. And then we have this onPress native. It does a log. It then kicks off the onPress on the JavaScript side and constructs this object that it passes through. And then it does this transition with the wrapper, duration of 1.4, so it's kind of slow. And it flips from the top, and then we set the alpha, and we kind of flip that back and forth, and we don't do anything when we're finished. So that's everything. It's pretty sweet. It's actually pretty reasonable. Skididdy93, you just came and joined us. Seems like. How you doing? Oh, I just realized I was off the screen a little bit. Look what we just finished. These are using native in the background and JavaScript, but it's showing two different components because this is the Android implementation, this is the iOS implementation. And I could actually pass in the URL if I wanted to from the JavaScript side. We have a little bit of time. You want to try that? You know what? Actually, I don't want to try that. I don't feel like it. I'm kind of tired, actually. I didn't get a lot of sleep last night because I played so late. Our game started at like 9:15 p.m. and I had to be up pretty early to get the girls off to the school bus. So I'm kind of running out of steam here. But yeah, fun. Got the hello from native thing going on right here, and then also right here. So hello from native shows up. There's this target 49, and I don't exactly know what that is. I think that has something to do with the image. I'm sorry, the view number, like the number of the view. That doesn't happen on Android, so I don't know why they added the target there. Pretty burned out today myself. Yeah. Well, it's Wednesday. It's hump day, right? Like trying to make it to the weekend, trying to get through everything. Nicole, thanks for sticking out. This was cool. Yeah, thanks for joining me and hanging out and checking all that out. We might do some additional stuff in the future. Maybe at like a real app, like build something real and do a bunch of weaving back and forth between native and JavaScript. I like that stuff. It's fun. It's like more out of the ordinary. Anybody can build like a random JavaScript, React Native app. Anybody can do that. But we like to do things the hard way around here because that's how we learn. The more frustration and the more walls that we bang our head into, the more we're learning. And so we try to seek those out so that we can learn a lot. All right, everybody. So far, I'm pretty impressed with Streamlabs OBS, by the way, and I'll probably keep using it. I do need to update some of these other scenes that I have, starting soon, be right back, ending soon, offline, and I need to add one for just like hanging out and chatting as well. But this is the one that's the most important for doing work. So I'm going to sign off, and next stream is going to be probably Friday morning, I think, at around 10 a.m. Pacific time. I might get started a little earlier than that, to be honest. Might be 9. So hang out with us then. We might be doing some of this, or we might just do some open source. There's actually a bunch of open source I'm a little behind on, so I'll Skididdy, you need to hang out with us then. More on Friday, exactly. And then I am hoping to eventually start working on doing some later night stuff on Monday. So it would be like Monday at like 6 p.m., 7 p.m., somewhere around there after dinner, basically, Pacific time, of course, where I do some coding, and then Wednesdays at 1 is kind of, or 1 to 3 is kind of my main slot, and then Fridays is kind of like open source hacking or whatever we want to do. And so we'll have 3 days, 3 different times. Allows people to, it'll kind of like hit across the spectrum where people can hit 1 or 2 of those, hopefully. So thanks everybody for joining, and I will see you Friday.